Hey guys, welcome back to another little late night chit chat video. Welcome back to another little mini vlog. Before we go ahead and get into tonight's video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. For those of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much for doing so. We do appreciate the support. And shout out to our Purple Heart members. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Some of you would have gotten a notification, and some of you will see this, excuse me, once it re-uploads to YouTube. So thank you for your support in advance, and shout out to everyone who has been taking part in the giveaways that are going on the channel. So I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that while I wait for you guys to go ahead and join the live. So the first giveaway we have going is the road to 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 subbies on this channel. Once we hit that milestone, we do have a 2 Uber Eats gift card giveaway. In order to take part in the giveaway, you must have a valid email address and you must reside in Canada in order to receive the gift card and in order to be able to use it. So those are the only stipulations for that particular giveaway. The other giveaway is our watch time giveaway that is for everyone. The only stipulation is that you must have access to Western Union to pick up your prize, and you must have valid government issued photo ID in order to access those services. So those are the only stipulations, and those are the 2 giveaways that we have going on the channel. If you want to take part, all you have to do is subscribe, watch the videos, comment Purple Heart underneath the videos that you watch so that we know you came through, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. Okay, so we're gonna move on to tonight's topic. I actually had a complete different video in mind. I was gonna talk about Krishan getting her blue face tattoo removed from her face, but that'll be a separate video. We'll react to that probably tomorrow. Tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about the chronic narcissist and their one of their favorite people to prey on, one of their favorite type of people to prey on, the over empath, the chronic empath. um Also, we want to talk about how you can tell like some of these guys are chronic narcissists. And to be clear, when I say guys, I mean multi, it could be woman, man, I just mean person in general. But in this particular instance, we're going to talk about the male. um because that's where the experience comes in. I can give a little bit of my personal experience on the topic, and we can go ahead and talk about why I think a particular celebrity is a chronic narcissist. Okay, so first off, one of the things that a chronic narcissist with mother issues, this is very important. You can look on YouTube, you can search up narcissists right now, and there'll be like millions of videos, no lie. There are tons of people, personal and professional opinions, experiences, all of that that have covered this topic. So we all know by now there are different types of narcissists. Narcissism is kind of like, if you're familiar with autism, right? It's on a spectrum. So people, there are different ranges to it. A chronic narcissist is on the very, very, very end of the dark side of that spectrum, right? A chronic narcissist is somebody who does not care about inflicting the pain on the people who they're currently intertwined with or they're using, because we all know that they feed on people's energy. So they like to call the person that the narcissist is dealing with at the moment as like a host, right? They don't care about causing physical harm, mental harm. They don't care about causing harm. So that's somebody who's on the very end of that spectrum, right? These are the type of individuals who will, on purpose, choose a mate, a spouse, they will choose a partner who they know for sure their mother does not like, will not get along with, for sure, because they know their mother's personality. So, for instance, if the mother is bossy or pushy, they will date and marry somebody exactly like that, knowing that they're definitely going to clash. Right. So, this is what like a chronic narcissist will do: marry the woman who's exactly like his mother, then they will groom the woman to dislike the mother. This is something that chronic narcissists like to do all the time, especially the ones with mother issues, right? They're gonna, after the whole love bombing, after all of that, there's a little bit of cracks showing here and there. They will quickly fill in those cracks with stories of their childhood trauma and all the things that their mother did, and this and that. By the time the two women, the mother and the wife, get in the same room, they already hate each other, like on sight, because he's also grooming the mother to hate the wife, right? And then he's going to sit back and watch them rip each other to shreds. He will not take sides. He will always tell you what you want to hear in the moment. If you come to him about your mother doing this and this and that, he'll say, "Yeah, you know, you're right, babe. You should da 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 da. You're right, da 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 da." But then he will go to your mother in law and tell her when she's griping and moaning about you, "Yeah, you know, mom, you're right. Yeah, you know, I understand, da 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 da." So both women feel empowered to continue to rip each other to shreds because they both feel that the guy is on their side. He's on nobody's side. He hates his mother, he hates the wife, he hates both of them, but he loves to see them rip each other to shreds. Unfortunately, in most cases, this goes on for years, and very rarely do the both women see the common denominator as the guy, right? It usually ends up the woman ends up getting fed up and she'll leave, because like he's not going to leave his mother. She's also a source of his, she feeds into him as well. So obviously it's going to be the women coming and going, and they will always choose a woman that their mother is not going to like, because they can't afford to have both women team up on them. He's already weak when it comes to the mother, so he's definitely not going to choose a female that can team up with her and both of them outpower him. So that's not happening. So sometimes people will wonder, like I've heard it so many times in conversations, right? When we've got like a really, really toxic situation going on in like a friend circle, and people will say, "Well, I don't know why he married this lady. She's just like his mother. He should have known like they would never get along." Of course he did. That's why he chose to marry this woman, knowing fully well that they were never going to get along. Then you have, the other flip side to it is, once the mother kind of gets bored with the whole situation and she's no longer, this is usually after like the grandkids start coming and stuff like that. They tend to kind of temper it down. They can, hold it in check for the grandkids, and then they kind of, start feeding all their love and affection into the grandkids, and it's like the woman no longer even exists. At this point, she's just a vessel to pop out the kids. They don't even care anymore. They're cemented in knowing that their son is always going to ill treat you, and you're never going to win. They're always going to be his number one. And so it's like a cat when it's done tired playing with a thing, it just kind of toss it to the side and move on to something else. This is when the chronic narcissist completely jumps in and destroys you. Because remember, they dislike you, right? So now that you have no one to turn to, because the mother sure as heck is not listening to you. By now, your family have given up trying to show you the light. It's kind of like, you've kind of cut everyone off, distance yourself. Now they have you all alone, right? This is like the worst position to be in ever. Now they can focus solely on completely breaking you down. This happens in situations where you notice they married this person, the person was vibrant, loud, outspoken, vibracious, and it's over the years they just got quieter and quieter and quieter and more. They retreated more and more into themselves, and people around them just don't understand what's happening because the guy is nice as pie, right? They're nice as pie, and they may very well be nice to everyone except you, but nobody will believe you because they've groomed everyone to accept that you're the problem. Well, she's always been standoffish, or she's always been to herself, or she's this, she's that. It's always the other person, never the narcissist, right? So that's something very important I kind of wanted to talk about, which brings me a little bit to a gentleman that I think pretty much fits the description of a narcissist, and I think well on his way to being a chronic narcissist, is gonna be Blueface, right? I don't think that's a mystery. And the reason I say that is when you look at the women, I'm not just talking for Sean. Jaden doesn't really count, not in that way, because she likes women. She doesn't really care about any of this stuff. And, this is all before it all fell apart. So I like to kind of leave her out of the equation. We're talking about from then on, right? When you look at the type of women that he picks, it's always women who are never gonna get along with Carlissa, right? Krishan is sure as heck not gonna get along with Carlissa because he filled up Krishan's head with all of his childhood, mommy trauma stories and this and this and that. And when it all started going to heck, she started blaming Carlissa. She started blaming, oh, it's his mom's fault, why he's like this and that and the third. She blamed everybody but Blueface. It was his mom, it was his father, it was his siblings, it was anybody but him. It was his manager. It was anybody but him. He's now doing the same thing with the Nivea girl. He had her and Carlissa fighting each other. They were never gonna get along. She was never gonna approve of Nivea because she has a certain type that she sees him with, and these girls that he's kind of picking up and entertaining is not really her cup of tea. And he does that for a reason, right? It's literally to get under her skin. He enjoys really hitting below the belt when it comes to her. He knows what her buttons are and he likes to push them. And one of the buttons is in the type of women that he chooses. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. Wanted to tie that all in there. And yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk on that a little bit. Let me know if you guys kind of know where I'm coming from with this. Let me know if it's something that you've noticed. It doesn't have to be a celebrity, it could be in your own life. For me, it was a little bit of it related to me in terms of my marriage of 10 years. A lot of the time in the beginning was spent listening to all types of horror stories about family members, mothers, sisters, cousins, aunties. Everybody was evil, everybody did this, everybody did that. And in the beginning, when you're in love and you're being love bombed, you really kind of eat up all that stuff because there has to be a reason why this person behaves the way they behave. Your rational mind is telling you there has to be a reason. So they're feeding you a reason. Well, it's because my mother did this and she did that when I was little, or my aunt did this, or my cousin did that. And you're busy hating people you don't even know. And it won't come till years later. You may sit down and have a conversation with people and find out that they never said that, or you never said this, or this person was lying the whole time, pitting both people against each other. I don't want to say fortunately, but fortunately, sometimes people do come to the realization that they're being played, they're being manipulated, and there's a common denominator, the manipulator, the narcissist, and they're able to kind of figure that out. A lot of the times, mothers know how their sons are. They've been dealing with them their whole life. Fortunately, if the mother is not a narcissist, they will call them out every time on their BS. So, of course, you'll have a guy who, of course, hates his mother even more because, she calls him out on his BS. But a narcissist will never see themselves as the problem. They will always see it as it's other people. So they will continue to, hate their mother and bash their mother to you. And then you will continue to hate the mother for him. And it's just on and on and on. And it works the same way for females, right? They feed the men this whole poor me story. And then the guy is, Captain Save you know what, and they think that they're protecting this woman from the world. They're her shining knight. You'll hear stories like that all the time. Men get love bombed too. Men get um targeted by female narcissists too, right? They were her shining knight, her knight in shining armor. They gave her everything. She told them when she was young she had nothing, all type of stories, right? Only to find out it's all been a lie. They actually come from a very loving family and they're a narcissist. You learn that through therapy, self-realization, prayers, faith, whatever it takes to kind of see the light. You start to notice certain patterns, right? The guy breaks up, throws away his marriage. Now he picks up somebody who's exactly the carbon copy of his ex-wife, right? And the cycle begins all over again, right? And by then, if you're on the outside looking in, you're able to see this person has literally groomed everybody around them to believe that it's the other person's fault because they're perfect. They're such a good person. Oh my God, why is it always them? Like they have the worst luck when it comes to picking partners, blah, 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 blah. These are the enablers, or we call them like flying monkeys. These are the people who continue to feed the narcissist and sometimes not even realize they're doing it because they've been doing it their whole life. That's how it works with the whole, family situation. They have everybody perfectly groomed. You can't go to anyone in their family about them because you will automatically become the outsider, the interloper, the person who's trying to cause problems in the family. You come in and you're trying to, turn this person against this person. And the whole time, there is a whole puppet master pulling the strings and nobody's aware. So, that's kind of what I wanted to go ahead and talk about tonight. The chronic narcissist and the people they like to choose and the people they like to feed on and why they like to do it. A lot of the times it can look very confusing. It doesn't make any sense to a person looking at it rationally, but to a narcissist it makes perfect sense because they have everything set up how they want it, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that whole topic in the comments down below. If you guys, like I said before, if you have a personal experience or just an opinion on the whole topic, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We appreciate your time. Stay up and stay blessed, and we'll catch you guys in another video. Deuces.